And let's start with the markets today. The markets today in India closed flat with a negative bias after hovering in a tight range as investors maintain cautious stance ahead of outcome that came, US Fed outcome that came last night. We see the markets and Sensex was down around 0.09%, nearly flat. Nifty was also down 0.19%, nearly flat to say. So we are joined by Mustafa Nadeem to talk more on the markets. Good evening to you, Mr. Nadeem. And first of all, I would like to ask you, how do you see the trade happening for the rest of the week? What are the big factors to be looked out for?
I think today Sensex and Nifty dragged, but at lower levels the fresh buying happened and it again went up by another 80 points. So I think this is a good sign that at every bottom the dips have been bought into. So I think this trend would continue and we may see the Nifty going to a level of 10,200, 10,250 level. Today the dip was more of because of the macro factors, like today our FM accepted that yes, things are not very good and government is trying to bring up some stimulus kind of thing, which is not exactly clearly mentioned. So that was the reason there was some profit booking at higher levels. But again, as things would become clear, I think the bullishness would continue and we may see 10,200, 10,250 level going forward.
And also, do you expect, Mr. Nadeem, that whatever happened at US Fed, is that over, or do you think those things will still impact markets across the globe? Because Asian markets were under pressure today after US Fed took a decision not to hike interest rates, and also it took a decision and it signaled that rates could go high in December.
Yeah, I think the things are stable now from the Fed part, and the most important thing is the Fed has maintained its GDP outlook, and they have also said that they would be supporting if there is any fall in GDP. So market should take it positively, and over the period the things would be bullish because of this factor, because they would be focusing more on creating demand. So that way the GDP would expand and the bullishness would continue globally also. The major reason for Asian shares, I think, was because the China GDP was downgraded to A+ from A-. So that might have taken the Asian shares into mildly red, but I think the bullishness would continue going forward.
Also, any particular stock or sector you will say, Mr. Nadeem, is good time to invest in those stocks? What about telecom sector? They were under pressure yesterday and since the last 2 days.
I think on the telecom front, yes, there are some hiccups because the government policies are coming up, which is creating some disturbance in telecom stocks. But the Reliance, as I've been maintaining since long, the Reliance is a stock which should be looked upon, and I see further 10 to 15% upside going forward in Reliance per se. So Reliance is bullish, and again the banking today, although it took a beating, but at this level banking also looks good.